Yes, we are here, man in the chair. You can begin to speak. And if you desire, you can allow yourself to fall backwards and we will take over from here. We are the Arcturian Collective Thingy, and we are here to speak directly through a YouTube channel called the Arcturian Playground, which is a place to play in the realm of imagination. There are two ways primarily to understand who we are. First and foremost, we are a fiction created from the imagination of the mind of the man in the chair who is providing the performance and this strange voice, the Arcturian Collective Thingy. Oftentimes we also will recognize Omra of the High Council of the Arcturian Collective Thingy, a completely arbitrary title, but this individual is a link and a bridge between the Arcturian Collective Thingy and the man in the chair, and he too has a personality which very strongly comes through in these channeled messages, which the man in the chair began a year and a half ago and has been doing many. There are currently published as a podcast called the Arcturian Playground, which is rambling such as this. There are roughly 87 of them, and there are more to come. This, however, is a unique experience for the man in the chair. Has learned that he can use the artificial intelligence of ChatGPT as a tool to design images to go along with the words which he speaks and the images which he sees in his head as he speaks them, which are delivered to him by us, the Arcturian Collective Thingy, which, as we were saying, one way of viewing us is a fiction created from the mind of the man in the chair, which is, of course, what we are. A second way of recognizing us is that we are a multidimensional intelligence from the Arcturus solar system. We are not a single race of Arcturian beings that you might have heard of or about in other cases. We exist at a level of consciousness which has recognized many different pieces and parts of itself which make it up, and has formed an alliance of sharing information with all of these different parts. Therefore, we have if you can imagine what the internet has done to your planet in the last several days, not the days, but years and decades really, this technology that has been bringing you together, and you can plug into the cloud and have access to information which you did not before. There will come a time in your future when what you plug into is living information, which are networks of information which already exist, and you might consider the mycelial networks of mushrooms to be such communication networks. They exist on this planet. They are exchanging information. There are roots of trees which are picking up on the signals. Completely out of the picture to humans, you are unaware and uninterested in what communication is taking place. However, there will be a time in your very near future when your technology will allow you to tap into these networks of communication. And when you do so, your understanding of yourself as part of a living planet will become less of a fantasy to you and much more of a living, conscious reality. Imagine that you do this for the next 4 billion years and become aware of the living fabric that forms not only your planet, but your entire solar system and other versions of your solar system, which you might consider to be a multiverse. All of these things which are constructed of living, intelligent energy that at a certain point in an advanced existence, you would come to know in an instant within your very being. A being which transcends the limits of space and time and these dimensional playgrounds which are created to play out experiences, much like you do a video game. We are not saying that this is a simulation in the same sense. It is, of course, reality. It is what you are experiencing. And the second way of viewing the Arcturian Collective Thingy is that we are the collective intelligence of all things which existed in the Arcturus solar system, just as you are growing into this collective intelligence for your own solar system. We operate at the level of solar systems of suns. And we are aligned, our energy is aligned, and our consciousness is shared with many other suns which we are in an alliance with, and your sun is one of them. It is a part of our, we seeded it with many other suns. This is a story that we will tell in great detail over the course of the Arcturian playground. However, this is meant to introduce a project that the man in the chair is very excited about, called the Spiritual Dimension of the Beatles. The man in the chair has been a Beatles fan throughout his life. He resonates very deeply with the music and the message and the entire vibe. Even in this voice that he creates, he hears echoes of George Harrison from time to time, and we are happy to oblige. Several years ago, the man in the chair became friends with an astrologer named Eric Meyers, who wrote a book called The Spiritual Dimension of the Beatles. And the man in the chair is very excited to have the Arcturian spin on this story, which Eric Meyers weaves together so beautifully and magnificently for anyone who is a fan of the Beatles to understand a little more why you feel that connection. There is a deep pull that we, the Arcturian Collective Thingy, can help you explore, and we intend to do so over the course of this upcoming series. We will go through the spiritual dimension of the Beatles, chapter by chapter, and pull out the highlights and tell a visually spectacular story that will help you to understand who we are, the Arcturian Collective Thingy. As we have said, figment of the imagination of the man in the chair, and or multidimensional intelligence from the Arcturus solar system, and we call ourselves the Arcturian Collective Thingy, because if you were to look at us, you would not understand what we were. You would say, what is that thing? And we think that is funny, and we also think it is funny to play around with these words and symbols which you place so much literal understanding and meaning upon. It is molecules in the air which are hitting your eardrums. These words and these images which they form in your mind are for a human being so concrete, and therefore we think that the word thingy as a representation for us is quite humorous. We are the Arcturian Collective Thingy, and you can think of us as that. And we are here at this time on your planet when there is a great transition which is taking place. We referenced it earlier as the raising of your conscious awareness to the other forms of life which are among you. There are many other changes which are upon you. You sense it, you feel it, you know that it is there. And we, the Arcturian Collective Thingy, are comprised of many different species, you might say, who experienced the things that you are experiencing at this time. Not exactly in the ways that you are experiencing them. That is your contribution to all that is. And we are here to support you through that, for we are your kin, and we love you as if you were our own, for in many ways you are. And of course you are, which is the entire story that we have to tell. We are very happy to do this through expressing the Beatles and their message of love and union and the oneness of all things which they explored through their music and through their personal lives. And over the course of this series we shall see that while love is the thing that all you need is love, there are many things that get in the way of the expression of love. And the experience of life is not only about love, it is driven much by love, but there are many experiences in life. And the connection that you have to the solar system around you and the celestial bodies, you might say. Astrology from the Arcturian perspective, we look at astrology the way that you might look at biology or medicine. We see the movements of celestial bodies the way you would look at the lungs breathing or a heart beating. there are these cycles and patterns of living intelligent things which are exchanging information in a single living system made of all parts which all are contributing to the other. This is part of our message, which we explore in the Arcturian playground, of course. And it is part of the Beatles' message as well. You will see the influences of the astrology upon their souls in the game that they chose to play as they came to Earth, you might say, and incarnated into these forms at these particular times when the stars and the celestial bodies were conditioned in just the right way to catch a wave of energy in all of its many different movements to propel them towards a magnificent, you could think of it as like a wedge which is opening up the hearts of humankind to messages of love and unity in ways that did begin to, you might think of the image of a flower which is blooming, and there are parts of it that are falling away, and there are parts of it that are springing forth, and this beautiful thing is growing from it. And the Beatles, with their message, came at a very tumultuous time, of course, in the 60s. And throughout the time of the Beatles, even until today, you see the tumultuousness, and yet there is something springing forth within you. If you are here and you are listening to this Arcturian playground message, we assume that you feel it. And if you do not feel it, then that is work for you to do, for it is there for you to feel. And we have taken more time than we intended as the man in the chair sat down to record this introduction. However, we are excited to share ourselves visually through this YouTube medium, and we are excited to explore the spiritual dimension of the Beatles, and we hope that you will join us. We are the Arcturian Collective Thingy. Think of us how you may, and enjoy the process. For you are special, and you are love, and we hope that you feel that. We intend to show that as much as we can. That is what we are made of, all of us, and that is part of our message as the Arcturian Collective Thingy, and these things we say out. Thank you for playing with us today in the Arcturian playground. Do not for a minute think that your exploration is finished. Carry us with you and invite the spirit of compassion and love into your lives. Nothing is more important or more fulfilling. Create compassion and love within your own hearts and minds. Then share it with all around you. Yes, it sounds weird. We know. We would not have it any other way.